Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Biryani Mishti and more. I hope all of you are doing well. If not, I hope that things get better soon. So let's begin today with another recipe, Malai Kofta curry. This is a rich, creamy dish that combines the richness of dairy and crispness of veggies. The origins of Malai kofta can be traced back to northern parts of India, and the koftas are traditionally made with crumbled paneer. But today I'm doing something different. This can be called a fusion between Malai kofta and a Bengali dish called Chanar Dalna. As for the kofta balls, I'm not using paneer but homemade cottage cheese, also known as Chena or Chana, which is made by curdling milk. So, without waiting any further, let's dive into the recipe. As you noticed, I just cut a lemon and juiced it, and I'll be using this to curdle the milk and turn it into cottage cheese or chana. Here I have taken around 1.1 liters of whole milk. You can take low fat milk as well, but the quality of cheese produced might not be the same in that case. Bring the milk to a boiling temperature, and once it is there, switch off the stove and let it settle down. Once it has settled, add in the entire lemon juice that you have just squeezed. You will see that the cheese curds start to separate from the whey almost immediately. You can keep it covered for 2 to 3 minutes before you start separating the whey from the cheese curds using a strainer. This process is very satisfying to watch, and I personally like to look at the cheese separating from the whey for a few minutes and just enjoy the process. Next, we will strain out the cheese from the whey using a cheesecloth topped on a strainer. I am also going to wash the cheese with some cold water after doing this just to get off the extra whey and cool it down a bit. To drain the cheese completely, we will squeeze it by wrapping it tightly in the cheesecloth and then put something heavy on top of it. Here I'll be using my mortar for that purpose. Now we will move on to the gravy part. For this we will be chopping some vegetables. Here I've taken one medium sized carrot, 1/4 cup of blanched peas. These are sweet peas because they would add a nice touch to the kofta balls. I also have one medium onion, 1 inch ginger and 4 to 5 garlic cloves. The onion, ginger and garlic will be used for the curry base, and the carrot and the peas will be used to be mixed with the cheese while making the koftas. I'm chopping the carrots into small cubes of 1 to 2 centimeters. Here I'm mixing the carrots with peas and we'll be keeping that aside to use later. Then I will start by dicing the onions into medium sized cubes. That should be enough, and you don't need to be very precise with the cuts as they are ultimately going to be blended into a smooth paste. This is followed by the ginger and garlic, which are again chopped into tiny pieces roughly. As I mentioned before, I've taken 1 inch ginger and 4 to 5 garlic cloves. Then I've taken one medium sized tomato and 5 to 6 whole green chilies, and similar to the onions, ginger and garlic, I'll be chopping them roughly into cubes and tiny pieces respectively. We also need 8 to 10 pieces of cashew nuts that have been soaked in water for 10 to 15 minutes. They help in increasing the thickness of the gravy. Moving on to the sauteing part, I've heated up my pan and added some oil to it, and will start by cooking the ginger and garlic until the raw smell goes away. them for 4 to 5 minutes, I'm adding the onions and we'll cook the onions until they turn translucent. Once the onions are cooked, I will add the green chilies, cook them for 2 minutes and follow them with the tomato pieces. The tomatoes need to be cooked until they are squishy and break apart when you poke them with your turner. Finally, I will add the cashews and cook them until they are light brown in color. The entire process of sauteing takes about 10 minutes, give or take. We will keep the sauteed mix aside to let it cool down. Meanwhile, let's move to the chana or cheese. We will crumble it first and then start adding in the veggies and the masalas. First, I've added the carrots and the peas. This will be followed by some crushed cashews, around 2 to 5 of them. We will also add some dried raisins as they lend a beautiful sweet flavor to the koftas. For spices, we will add some coriander powder, garam masala powder, salt, and turmeric powder, followed by 2 dollops of ghee. This ghee is homemade by me. Just an extra piece of information which you absolutely did not need. Then I will be giving this assortment a good mix. I will try to use my palm instead of my fingers for doing this, as I've learned that if you knead the cheese with your palms, then it turns softer when you make the koftas instead of giving it a rubber like texture. Some people tend to add potatoes in this in order to give the koftas a better binding, but somehow I don't find the idea of potatoes in kofta balls very appealing. Just a personal choice, I guess. For shaping the koftas, I'm just taking equal portions of the cheese mix in my hands and first rolling them into a ball, then flattening them because I intend to fry them in less oil instead of deep frying them, and for that, a flatter shape helps instead of a round one. For frying the koftas, I'll be tossing them in the oil until they are golden brown from both the ends, or for 3 to 4 minutes on each side, whatever suits you. Some of the koftas did break off a little bit because, as I mentioned before, I did not add any potatoes to them. But, like I mentioned, I do not find it to be a very big problem. For me, having potatoes in the kofta is much more problematic. So, I was okay with them breaking apart a little bit. But you can see most of them were as whole as they were made in the first place. So, this wasn't a problem for me. But if you don't want your koftas to break at all, you might go ahead and add some potatoes as well as some all-purpose flour to make them well binded. We will move back to our sauteed mixture to make the curry base. I will blend the mix into a smooth paste. Then in a heavy bottomed pan, I have heated up some mustard oil and I'm going to add some spices for tempering. Here I've added jeera, whole garam masala spices, which is long dalchini and elaichi, one tej patta, and some powdered spices, turmeric and red chili powder. All of these spices will be listed in my description box, so make sure that you follow it. Then I'll be adding the blended curry paste to this tempered oil. I'll be cooking this for 3 to 5 minutes uncovered or until the raw smell of vegetables go away. That should take not much long as we have already sauteed them before blending. If you see that the paste is getting dry and you still have to cook it for some time, then you can add 1 or 2 splashes of hot water and keep on cooking it. Once the raw smell is gone, add around 1 cup of hot water and cook it covered for 12 minutes approximately. In between cooking, uncover the pan occasionally and stir to check if the curry is sticking to the base of the pan. If it is sticking, then add some more water. 6 minutes of cooking, add around 3/4 to 1 tablespoon of coriander powder. At this point, if you're happy with the consistency of your curry, then you are good to cook it uncovered for an additional 1 to 2 minutes. But if you're not and want to make it less thick, then add some more hot water according to your need and cook for an additional 3 to 4 minutes. And I just realized I can't even pronounce consistency at once. Haha. After this, add 1 to 2 pinches of garam masala. I usually use homemade garam masala for any curry that I make, but you can use the store bought one if you want. Then lower the heat and wait for a minute before adding the heavy cream. Remember to have the cream in room temperature and the heat of the curry at its lowest so that there is not much temperature difference between the both, else there is a risk of the curry getting curdled. This is followed by adding 1 to 2 pinches of kasuri methi. Rub them in between your palms to release their flavor before adding them to the curry. The final step before adding the kofta balls is to add 1 tablespoon of sugar to give the curry a balanced flavor. Finally, we'll finish off by adding the kofta to our curry. At this time, make sure to either turn off your stove's heat completely or keep it at the lowest. Once the kofta are added, garnish with some heavy cream to give it a nice professional touch, makes you feel like a chef. If you have enjoyed this recipe, then don't forget to subscribe to my channel Biryani Mishti and more and like or share this video with your friends. Enjoy your Malai Kofta with rice, roti, or chapati. I enjoyed mine with some rice. Thank you for watching this video until the end. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments. See you next time with another recipe. Till then, bye.